Hello, class. Oh, whoops. What's going on? So I'd like to go through these list ones with you in case you're having problems with them. Some good sort of just basic algorithms in here. So given an array of ints, return true. By the way, an array is, use that word interchangeably with list. So given a list of ints, return true if 6 appears on either the first or last element in the array will be length 1 or more. So sometimes the more complicated ones, you get into trouble because you're assuming that the list has size, which would be logical, but that's not always the case. So bottom line is you have to understand how to identify the first or last item in the list. So if you're taking something like this, and hey, what's up, Tim? So if you're taking something like this and you got a list, you have to understand how to access the first and last element. So basically, the first element is x index 0, right? We could count up and say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and say the last element is in location 4. But we don't know how long the list is going to be, so we could figure out that value in terms of the length of the list. So if we look at the length of the list, it's 5. 4 is 1 less than that. So this is a good workable general solution. However, you can also reverse index in Python. So -1 is also the last value in the list. And then so to check to see if something is 6, it's like if nums index 0 is 6, right? Then that would be there is a 6 in the first spot, so we can return true. Because of the nature of return, we don't have to worry about ellipse because we're never going to make it down here if the first condition was true, because we are going to return true and leave the function. So here we return true. And because of all that, like these are the only 2 conditions which create true, right? And if I haven't found one of those 2 conditions, that means I want to return false. So you can return false. This could be condensed. You could condense a lot of this, but I'm just trying to write it out so you can see the logic a little bit as we go. If the array is length 1 or more, and the first element and last element are equal. Okay, so first of all, there's different ways you can do this, but first of all, they're saying if the array is length 1 or more. So let's just first check that condition. So if length nums greater than equal to 1. Different ways you could go about this, but I'm going to say basically if it's greater than 1, and then I'm going to do some stuff if it's greater than 1, explicitly or specifically. I'm going to check to see if the first value is the same as the last value, and the way you check for equality is double equal sign, right? In this case, we want to return true. Now, be very, very careful. Well, I guess an else would work here. An else would work actually there because we're not doing any iteration. But basically, I'm just going to wait, and if I somehow make it to this line, it means that the if conditions didn't check through. Yeah, actually, that's an interesting one too. So by returning false like this, you're kind of waiting for this stuff to execute, and if it doesn't execute, you can say return false. Yeah, this I think will cause some problems, so let's see what happens when we do this. Yeah, this one right here. So it works for everything else, but what if the length of the list isn't greater than 1? Well, we don't have a condition for that. Like we're not doing anything for that. So we want to return false in that case, so we can kind of go like this. Okay, so that's one solution. One other solution would be, hey, so you know what? If this thing isn't greater than 1, let me just return false right away. Now, because of the nature of return, once again, because of the nature of return, the only way I could possibly make it to where the blinker is the cursor is blinking is if the length is greater or equal to 1, right? Because if it's less than 1, I'm returning false, and I'm going to leave the function. So the only way I can get to the blinking cursor is if the length of the function is greater or equal to 1. I can then do my check and all that good stuff. So that works out as well. So there's a lot of ways to skin a cow here. This is a really weird one. And I think people just didn't really understand what they were asking for. They're just asking for an int of length 3 containing the first 3 digits of pi. That's 314. So just return the list with 314 in it. So, given 2 array events, return true if they both have the same first element or they're the same element. Both. So yeah, we don't have to worry about length there. So bottom line is, this is one of those. If a and x0 equals b and x0, that's checking to see if the first element is the same, and if so, we want to return true. If the last element is the same, we want to return true. And by the way, I'm not sure if it's clear to you guys, but hopefully, we're reading about functions this week and stuff. A and b are parameters. They are functions, right? They are not functions, but they are representing lists. And you can see that that's the way the function works. Is a list gets put in as one parameter, and a list gets put in as another parameter, and those are the variables that take on those values, right? Again, that could be condensed. You could, you want to see how we could condense it? Okay, so one way we can condense this, right, is to say, so this is an, actually, or in Python is just or. All right, so if a equals b, if a and x0 equals b and x0, so if the first elements are the same, or if the last elements are the same, we return true. Otherwise, we're going to return false, right? That also works. Could even be condensed even more, believe it or not. Given an array of ints length 3, return a sum. Okay, so now this is an interesting one where you could use iteration. You could go through the loop, but this is specifically length 3, so you only have a length 3 list. So nums index 0 plus nums index 1 plus nums index 2 are going to be all those values. Hopefully that makes sense. Those are the 3 values you got, right? Now, could be done differently. You could use a sum function, things like that, but whatever. I think that's what they're looking for. Return a rotated left. So 1, 2, 3 equals 2, 3, 1. So again, this is specifically length 3. Specifically length 3. Now, what maybe people have a hard time with here, you can have a hard time with a couple ideas. Maybe the idea of mutation or something like that, or how do you create a new list or something. It really comes down to accessing the values in the list and then placing them in a list. Essentially, I mean, you can do it different ways, but so to make a list, I use the brackets. So I want to say nums index 1. So the middle value is going to shift to the first spot. The last value is going to shift to the second spot, and then the first value is going to be in the last spot. And then I'm going to close this with another square bracket. So yeah, so that's it. I just made a new list and put values in it. So nums index 1 is just a value. It's just a value. How are we doing? Oh. All right, I'm going to eat lunch. All right, I'm back. Reverse 3. So I will say, like, one thing about these CodingBats is a lot of them are just length 3, and then in the other one you have to like think about a general length, which is a big difference. So let me try to do this one both ways. So reverse order is really just you're going to return an array, much like we did the other one, where nums index 2, the last element is the first element, the middle element is still the middle element, and then the first element is the last element. So that sort of works. How can we do it? It becomes harder. General. Well, there's different ways to do it. There is a shortcut way to do it. Thing is, like, if I didn't know how long it was, I'd have to sort of be able to create a reverse index. So let's say that I did this. Let's say I made an array, and I iterate through my array, but I'm going to actually want to iterate by location. Now, one thing to consider here is if I do it like this, it's going to go 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. And if I'm indexing by the back, it's -1, -2, -3. So I want to somehow create those values, -1, -2, -3. This is going to create 0, 1, 2, right? 0, 1, 2. I don't know if that makes sense. But I'm going to go 1, so I'm going to start at 1. So now it's going to go just 1, 2. But if I go laying nums plus 1, it'll give me 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I want -3, -2, -1. So how do I do that? Well, so a pen kind of adds on to the back of something. Right now the list is empty. I'm going to take nums, but not just put I in there. I'm going to put negative I in there. So it's like -1, -2, -3, and that'll reverse order. That may be a little hard to understand how that worked. I was just trying to say, like, how do we create a general solution? So, so if you get to these list 2 problems, if you don't know how long something is, you really have to try to define a solution maybe in terms of its length using the length function. You have to iterate through a list, potentially maybe build a new list by appending values onto the list, things like that. But that not necessary for this problem really at all. Again, the first solution was just to return a list where you have nums 2, nums 1, and nums 0, right? The first or last element in the array. Again, length 3. Oh, and set all the other values to be that array. Return symbol. Well, yeah, so so about if nums index 0 is greater than nums index 2, right? I'm going to say some value like largest or whatever, I don't know. So largest is nums index 0, right? Do you agree? Otherwise, I'm just going to say otherwise, largest is nums index 2. So it's not, the first one's not the biggest, last one's the biggest. Well, what if they're equal? Well, if they're equal, the last one's going to be set to the largest value, but it doesn't matter because they're equal, so it doesn't matter which one you really set to it, right? And then I want to turn an array with all of those values, so I could just return largest. All right, see you, Tim. So I mean, here you have to check which is bigger, and then you want to like put that value into the array, and then return the array. If nums was greater than 0, I could have returned nums index 0, nums index 0, nums index 0 in the array. Else return nums index 2, nums index 2. That also, of course, would work, right? There are a lot of different ways you can do these things. Given array elements, return the sum of the first 2 elements in the array. 1 second, let me just finish this one right here. The sum of the first 2 elements, if the array is less than length 2, just some of the elements exist. So there is a trickaroonie on this one, and that is that slicing doesn't give you an error. So if you use this sums function and you say nums, beginning to 2, that's going to add up like the sum of the first 2 values, right? And it's not a problem if there aren't 2 values, right? So, so what if there's nothing? Like, so if we did the solution differently, like, what if laying nums was equal to 0, right? Well, there's nothing, so we have to return 0, right? If laying nums was equal to 1, we could return whatever's in that first spot, right? Otherwise, so and again, this is the nature of return, right? So if length was 0, we're returning a value. If length was 1, we're returning a value. The only way we could possibly make it to this line is if the length wasn't 1 or wasn't 0, right? Otherwise, we could return the sum, essentially, of what's in the first location plus what's in the second location, right? So that would be another. Oh, who said no? You said no. That'd be another way to do that solution. Okay.